Tutorial. My name is SDWJR. Let me see if I can spell my name here so you guys can see. SDWJR. And if we can take that and do a Google search and see who I am. These are compilers here. Do a Google search. Right. Click on this. So this is me, SDWJR. SDWJR. This is my Instagram page. You can come here, look for me, and see what I do. Right. So let's get into C++. All right, guys, don't get confused. Don't get too nervous when you see all these right here. You know, eventually over time, you will learn them. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. All right, so let's get into the C++ here. I'm gonna give you guys a quick summary of what C++ really is. All right, let's get into this right here. So what is C++? C++ is a cross-platform language that can be used to create high-performance applications. We'll go in depth in that. C++ was developed by Benjamin Shortstrait as an extension to C language. C gives programmer a high level of control over system resources and memory. That I like. C, the language was updated 4 major times: 11, 14, 17, 2020, to plus C++ 11, C++ 14, C++ 17, and C++ 20. What is it used for? What is C++ used for? C++ is one of the world's most popular programming languages. C++ can be found in today's operating system, graphical user interfaces, and embedded system. C++ is an object-oriented programming language which gives a clear structure to programs and allows code to be reused, which is true. Lowering development costs. It does. Very cost effective, cost efficient. C++ is a portable, that's true, and can be used to develop applications, which is true, that can be adapted to multiple platforms. Absolutely correct. C++ is a fun and easy to learn language. Absolutely true. C is close to C, C sharp, Java, it makes it easy for programmers to switch to C++ or vice versa. So if you know C++, C, C sharp, and Java, easy to learn. Easy to learn. What is the difference between C and C++? C++ was developed as an extension of C, and both languages have almost the same syntax, which is true. The main difference, though, between C and C++ is that C support classes and objects. We will get into that. Why C does not. Now, are you ready for us to get into our tutorial now? Get started. Are you ready now? This tutorial will teach you the business of C++. It is not necessary to have any prior programming language at all. Now, let's dive into our program here. So what are the programs that IED that we can use? All right. What are some of the IEDs that we can use? So what is an IED? IED, every web developer knows how to code, or every web developer must know how to code. But they require a workplace that has all the necessary tools to implement this code. The tool is the IED. An IED, or integrated development environment, is a digital environment used for game, software, hardware development that integrates debugging and compilation. So what is an IED? Here we got series of IED that you can use. I will be using Visual Studio Code. It's the IED that I'll be using. But there are a few other IEDs here you can use. Eclipse, NetBeans, Notepad, which I've used, Core Light, which I've used, and Core Block. So these will be considered an IED. So if someone asks you what IED are you using, you can say Visual Studio Code, Eclipse, NetBeans, Notepad, Core Light, or Core Block. Now, what is a compiler? Why am I using Visual Studio Code? Visual Studio Code is the number one IED in the whole world. Number one. So if you want to be a coder, you want to get into C++ coding, or just any coding as in general as a whole. Java can be done in Visual Studio Code. CSS can be done in Visual Studio Code. HTML can be done in Visual Studio Code. But one of the good things about Visual Studio Code is not only available for Windows, but it is also available for Mac and Linux as well. Visual Studio Code. In Visual Studio Code, you can debug as well as your code. Task management, syntax highlighting is very great. You're going to see that. Code navigation is integrated in that. It's beautiful. Versioning that as well. And it works with all hardware as well. So, if you're coding, so we got everything that we really need here. Let's jump into practice. Like the Albertson said, practice. Yeah, that's how you become great. You practice stuff. You know what I mean? But anyway, guys, so C++, yeah, we are compilers here. So we will be using some compilers online, and why we'll be using Visual Code. So what I would do here in this compiler, now that we know what an IED is, in this IED, so we know what an IED is now. So Visual Studio Code is an IED. So in my IED, because this is downloaded on my computer, I will open a file that I already created, and that's the file that we will be using interchangeably with the online IED as well, to make our learning a lot easier. So let's go to my desktop here. I got this right here. You guys can see right there. Just click on it. SDWJR.cpp. CPP means C++, but that's the extension of the C++ file. Open. All right. So like some here, if I were to just create, let me see something here. Open folder here. All right. So let's see. I got my C++ folder here. All right. You know what? Don't worry about that. All right. So every folder that you create, must have an extension of that CPP. It must. Every C++ folder extension must be that CPP. That must be. So let me show you guys a typical. Okay, let's go to Program S. All right, you see right here on top here, this file must end there. So it doesn't matter what you write here. At the end, it got to be that CPP. That's the only way the code is going to render or be able to run, so to speak. All right, so let's get here to my Visual Code Studio. All right. Now, I want to explain something here very, very quick, so we are kind of give a better understanding. Here. All right, so now you're wondering, what is this right here? Now that you get into C++ coding now, you're about to be a C++ code expert. This right here indicates, you guys can see, I just indicate that here. That's a header file library. So just know whenever you see that as a coder, you know that that's a header file library. At the using name standard means use the what? Object and variable from the standard library. That's what this means. Using name space standard. It means we doesn't care about white spaces. So here, the function int means a function, and everything within that function, within this curly bracket, will be executed. So keep that in mind. All right, C out. T, it means C out. I want you to keep that in mind. It means C out. This sound you see right here is an insertion operator. Insertion, and then our insertion goes in there. Quotes. We got quotes here. We got quote here. Our text in here. Jesus died for you. Exclamation. Quote in here. And every statement in the C++ must end with an exclamatory semicolon, not exclamation mark, but semicolon. Every statement. You see right here, return 0. It ends with a what? With a semicolon. So every statement in C++. So for example, if I were to write something like this right here, C out. If I were to write C out, insertion, quote, I love Jesus Christ. I love Jesus Christ. Period. Exclamation. You don't have to put exclamation, but I assume I'm putting an exclamation in there. And then it closes with that quote, but I gotta put that behind it, a semicolon to complete that statement. So always, if you write anything in C++ in these curly brackets, you would have to anything written in this curly bracket, you would have to put a semicolon to complete that statement. For example, if there's no semicolon here, this will actually render as incorrect. So keep that in mind. Now, I'm going to copy and paste this and take us to our online compiler. All right? That's this. Paste this on here. All right, so now we're using this online IED. So this is online IED for our coding back and forth. So we're gonna be going back and forth from our Visual Code, Visual Studio Code IED to shelf, to C++ shelf online IED. So let's run this code here. It says find now fun. Amazing. You know what? Let me fix something here real quick. All right. See, that's a good thing about learning, though. See, that's a good thing about learning. You see, it's not fun. See, that's the thing about learning. See, we just first time trying to correct something that we didn't do right. Right. Let's see now. Now let's run this now and see what happens.